In February 2014, the world turned its attention to Russia as it hosted the 22nd Winter Olympic Games in Sochi. For Russia, this was more than just a sports event. It was a golden opportunity to showcase its post-Soviet resurgence. After weathering the economic turmoil of the 1990s, Russia re-emerged as a growing economic power, eager to prove its newfound wealth and global integration. The Olympics were meant to celebrate this success, a symbol of Russia's place on the world stage through the unifying spirit of sportsmanship. However, the optimistic glow of the Sochi Games didn't last long. Just 4 days after the closing ceremonies, Russia made a bold and controversial move by annexing the Crimean Peninsula. This act set off a chain of events that would unravel much of Russia's progress over the previous decades. What followed was a slow but steady regression, turning Russia from one of the world's fastest-growing economies into a petrostate crippled by global sanctions and embroiled in an expensive ongoing conflict. The promise of Sochi's Olympic spotlight quickly dimmed, replaced by a darker, more uncertain economic future. Fast forward to 2022, and China takes the stage as the host of the Winter Olympic Games. That year marked China's first instance of stagnant economic growth since it opened its doors to global trade and private industry in the 1980s. This was a significant moment. China's unstoppable economic rise had hit a plateau, signaling the end of the most intense period of economic growth in human history. The Olympics are known for their grand displays of athleticism, unity, and national pride. But could these global spectacles be hiding a darker pattern? Is it possible that the Olympic Games are more than just a celebration of sports? Could they be an omen of economic downturns? Let's take a closer look, starting with Japan. In 1998, Japan hosted the Winter Olympics in Nagano, a time when the nation was already grappling with the effects of the Asian financial crisis. This economic downturn hit Japan hard, and nearly 3 decades later, the country still hasn't fully recovered. The Games came at a time when Japan's once booming economy was entering what has since been called the lost decades, a period of stagnation and deflation that has lingered far longer than anyone expected. So, what can we learn from this? Perhaps the most important lesson is that hosting the Olympics should not be seen as a guaranteed path to economic success. Instead, it should be approached with caution and a clear understanding of the potential risks involved. Economic challenges that coincide with the Olympics may not be caused by the Games themselves, but the financial strain of hosting can certainly exacerbate existing problems. And what about the future? As Australia prepares for the 2032 Olympics, it's crucial to consider whether the potential economic benefits outweigh the risks. With the lessons of history in mind, nations should carefully evaluate whether these costly events are truly worth the investment. In a world where economic uncertainty seems to be the new normal, perhaps it's time to rethink the way we approach the Olympics. Rather than seeing them as a guaranteed boost to the economy, we should view them as what they are, a costly endeavor with potential risks that must be carefully managed. Of course, the Olympics have a long and storied history, dating back to ancient Greece. The original Olympic Games were first held in Olympia, Greece, between 776 BC and 393 CE. These ancient games were a far cry from the modern spectacle we know today. The revival of the Olympics in 1896 was the brainchild of a French aristocrat named Pierre de Coubertin, who envisioned the Games as a way to promote cultural understanding and global unity. With the help of the International Olympic Committee, which Coubertin co-founded, the modern Olympics quickly became a reality. When the Games were reintroduced in Athens, 14 nations participated. Today, the IOC recognizes 206 countries and their respective national committees, making the Olympics a truly global event where rivalries are settled in a wide range of competitions. The Olympics are more than just a showcase of athletic prowess. They've evolved into one of the most extravagant displays of national pride and global ambition. But beneath the surface of this grand spectacle lies a complex web of motives, money, and, at times, economic pitfalls. Originally, the Olympics were conceived as a non-lethal battleground, a place where countries could compete without the horrors of war. Athletes would demonstrate their nation's strength, skill, and potential in a celebration of human achievement. But as the Games grew in scale, so did the stakes. The Olympics have arguably become the world's most lavish stage for bragging rights, with each host nation vying to outdo the last in terms of grandeur and spectacle. Let's take a look at some cold, hard numbers. In 2014, Sochi, Russia, diverted a staggering $44.3 billion for non-sports-related infrastructure alone. That's not even counting the sports venues themselves. And what do they have to show for it? A financial black hole that continues to drain resources, costing Russian taxpayers nearly $1 billion a year just in maintenance fees. And let's not forget their ongoing geopolitical struggles. And it's not just Russia. Remember the 2012 London Games? The city spent about $15 billion on the event, with $4.4 billion of that coming directly from taxes. For what? An underwhelming return on investment. Most of the temporary jobs created didn't even go to the people who needed them most. Only 10% of the 48,000 jobs went to previously unemployed individuals. The rest? Short-lived, with little to no lasting impact on the local economy. Now, the IOC likes to argue that tourism revenue offsets these massive costs, but that's more myth than reality. Sure, Barcelona, Sydney, and Vancouver saw slight upticks in tourism, but cities like London, Beijing, and Salt Lake City actually experienced decreases during their Olympic years. Crowding, security concerns, and sky-high prices kept many potential visitors at bay. So what about the legacy of these grand structures built for the Games? The reality is far less glamorous. Take Rio, for example. The Olympic Games were held there in 2016, and just a few years later, the once state-of-the-art facilities are now crumbling, abandoned, and forgotten. It would actually cost more to bring them back to life than it did to build them in the first place. And Rio isn't alone. Countries like Germany, Bosnia, and even Greece, the birthplace of the Olympics, have all let their once proud venues decay into ruins. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, press the subscribe button, and also drop your thoughts in the comment section.